All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Gonna see for its local search and for its city search if it is they got BSS, yes or no for either or both of them. So we're back here in the GBC universe. We're taking declining boudoir photographers to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned post, pinned video. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our, here in white, we got our intent spectrum here. High intent on the left, low intent on the right. And if the boudoir photographer is rising, they're usually bringing in all peeps from, this entire intent spectrum, kind of all these cohorts. But if a boudoir photography business is falling, then they're missing some, one or many cohorts here on this entire spectrum. So over on the left, which we talk about here, BSS focuses on the highest intent people. Google search, social search, those searching for boudoir photo shoots like ASAP right now in their city right now. Over on the right, that's where we focus on like the lowest intent people in our city, and that's why their sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. And right now, we only focus on working with boudoir photographers spending more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads over there. So that's what we got. Now, boudoir search sameness BSS is when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And 0 slots means we're on page 2 or deeper. We're effectively invisible because we know that approximately 80% of all Google searches never even hit page 2. They're page 1 only searches. And we care about these 80% because these peeps are, that's the bulk of the market. They approximately 80%. So most of the market, that's the bulk. And if we're invisible to them, that's killing our business. Also, 1 slot on page 1, also not good enough. It's not good enough because, there's 10 organic slots on page 1 of Google. And if we're missing 9, or if there's 9 of the boudoir photographers on page 1, then, then basically we're looking the same as everyone else. We're not standing out. And a buyer's just going to, click on everyone's link going down, contact everyone, price shop everyone, and literally, we're going to be price shopped to death, compared to death. Now, 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Now, 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google, extremely common, but not normal. That means like we got it's not normal to have so few page 1 links on Google as a boudoir photographer. Either 0 or 1. Yeah, we got some big issues then if that's happening. And so market saturation, basically everyone knows about this one. This is when it seems like every week a new boudoir. It seems like someone's getting a new iPhone, they're throwing up their Google My Business profile, send that the National Boudoir, or and they got their website saying they're a boudoir photographer, and so they are, increasing the competition for the keywords on page 1, and increasing that competition, maybe kicking us off. And also, if someone gets, like a new camera now, they're posting the mom groups on Facebook saying that they offer boudoir photo shoots. And so that's market saturation. Also, big market saturation happened when COVID. A lot of people lost their jobs, but people still turned money somehow. And look, everyone's got a phone with a great camera, so kind of natural that a ton more people become, new boudoir photographers or offer boudoir photo shoot services. Now, the thing that most people don't know about is the false belief of page 1 equality, but more and more people are coming to know about it every day. So this is where, it's kind of auto-accepted by boudoir photographers, like, hey, every boudoir photographer basically gets 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And yeah, I made my website was ranked on page 1, and and maybe market got a little saturated, we got pushed to page 2, and well, that's simply how it is. We are that's normal. And yeah, hopefully they delete their website so Google can re-rank us up on top or get us back on page 1. But that's not normal. Google will actually give us as many links on page 1 as we want to take, as we want to put in the effort to take. So it's basically like we're falsely believing, basically everyone gets 0 1 slots on page 1. No, that's incorrect. I know it's incorrect. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google in 10 days. Because I want to put in the effort to take as many slots as I want, and Google does give that. Google does give those links to people. Next, we also know that a boudoir photographer with BSS boudoir search sameness is a disappearing boudoir photographer, DBP. So we're building up our universe here on the left. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the 2 horns of market saturation and page 1 equality. Thankfully, we now finally have a solution to boudoir search sameness, and that is social search saturation, our S-cubed methodology, which we invented. The way it works is it's exactly what it says. We saturate social search with the highest intent keywords, most relevant to what boudoir photography buyers are searching. And when you saturate these on the social media networks, that's kind of like, our small streams or small rivers coming down the backside of the Andes Mountains in South America. And when we do that enough, eventually they all flow together to the Amazon River. That's page one on Google. So kind of all these dominating these high intent keywords on the social networks will eventually flow to us dominating, as many links as we want to acquire on page one on Google for those searches. And also, a special thing about SQ methodology is it's the only strategy I've seen for boudoir photographers that can actually fight back against market saturation, overcome it, and still grow a business in a relatively fast time frame. The only other solution that had previously existed is building a brand, a well-known brand. Dude, that takes like 5 to 10 years. We literally ain't got 5 to 10 years anymore. AI is coming to eat people's, careers, livelihoods, and we gotta get moving. So how's SQ methodology overcome market saturation? So let's say we got 1 million boudoir photographers in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we're one of them. Everyone's got a website saying they shoot boudoir, and we actually, so we're one of the 1 million. We're like, all right, market is extra saturated here. We need to crank up SQ methodology to the max to actually give ourselves a shot here to keep growing, not simply maintain, but actually continue to grow. So we crank up SQ methodology to the max, and let's say put the rank like the first 300 slots across all social networks for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in Raleigh. And as a result, that flows onto Google. And let's say we take the first 300 slots as well. So this would be like really ultra maxing it out, which is a very tiny possibility of actually ever happening. And so let's say, and as a result, anytime someone who wants boudoir searches on social or on Google, we're literally the only person they see for the first 300 slots. And Google is 10 slots per page, 10 slots organic search results per page. So literally the first 30 pages on Google is basically only us. And our competitors start showing up, page 31. But do we already know approximately 80% of people ain't never even going to page 2. So ain't no one going to page 31 to find our competitors. So as a result, we're basically the only one our boudoir photographer or people who want boudoir can find. And we are, we're getting all the intake. Our business is the one that's still growing. Because we've taken over all the highest intent search slots. And so a lot of peeps, didn't even know this possibility existed because they had they kind of auto-accepted, implicitly accepted the false belief of page one equality. So that scenario in Raleigh, we're actually still growing the business, and everyone else, every other boudoir photographer is disappearing out of those million, but we are still growing the business and still successfully growing in the midst of massive market saturation. And this happens a lot quicker than brand. But kind of a bonus, long-term benefit is SQ methodology actually is the fastest way to reach a well-known brand. So imagine if you're a well-known brand and you still continue to use SQ methodology, you'll basically be unstoppable. Now, once you're with SQ methodology, we have page one visibility, P1V. And initial benefit of this is we're kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. And so, initial benefit of SQ methodology, yeah, we get more links, but on page one, on Google search. But as a result, every link we take, we're kicking basically a competing boudoir photographer off there, putting them back on page number 2. And we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. They're page 1 only searches. So we're making them visible to the bulk of the market, approximately 80% of the market that never even reaches page 2. So this is an awesome initial benefit. Second benefit of utilizing SQ methodology. And page 1 visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. Now we do have a recommended minimum, a GBC recommended minimum of hitting 3 out of 10 page 1 links on Google. That's because if Google recommends 3 out of 10 times for the highest intent keywords, buyers are subconsciously going to be like, oh, why are they recommending this person so much? Come by the third time I see us, and they may even only click on our links, not even any of our competitors, even though we only have 3 out of 10 because we look so much better, so much larger, so much more recommended than the basically than everyone else. Also, there's a very, very tiny, rare chance that another boudoir photographer will have 2 slots page 1 on Google, so we dominate them as well. When we got basically when we got 3. So we dominate all the people that got 0 slots on page 1, or 1 slot on page 1, or 2 slots on page 1. We dominate everyone. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, VBP. So this is our entire universe, micro universe here. We got a declining boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness, or a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 equality. Thankfully, we now have the solution, thank the universe. SQ methodology. We achieve page 1 visibility, we become a visible boudoir photographer, and we achieve boudoir search visibility. So now my results, me using SQ2 methodology. So I wanted to rank for the term BLCS boudoir, and I exclusively used SQ2 methodology to do this. So I started out with 0 out of 10 links on Google page 1. And let's look at how many organic slots I got on Google page 1. I was able to get using SQ methodology. So we got organic slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, slot 6, slot 7, slot 8, and slot 10. So I literally got 9 out of 10 slots on Google page 1 search with only 10 days of utilizing SQ methodology. So these are the results that I've got for myself. All right, now to our main event here, we're going to check this boudoir photography business, see if it has BSS, see if they're hitting the GBC recommended minimum. 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search for local Washington, D.C. Well, technically that's city, and then region. All right, so the DMV, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. All right, so region should actually be way more competitive than what we've normally seen. All right, let's go to D.C. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, we got 0 out of 10 here for city search. Let's go to the DMV area. All right, so we got 0 out of 10 for both. So we got BSS for both the city search and the regional search, and we got we're not hitting the recommended GBC yet. GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search for either of these searches as well. All right, so if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, you've done your local searches, your city searches with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city, and you're seeing, for at least one of those searches you got BSS, or for at least one you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum 3 out of 10 slots page 1 of Google search, and you've broken through the mental barrier, you've accepted that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief, and you're seeing, wow, SQ methodology is actually exactly what you've been waiting for, and it's exactly the solution you want in order to get all these slots page 1, increase chances of bringing in new clients, and you're liking the initial benefits, more slots page 1, and you really like kicking the other boudoir photographers off page 1, making them essentially invisible, making their business start going down the path to disappearing. And you're also looking ahead, and you're understanding, wow, AI is taking a lot of people's jobs right now. Last time that happened was COVID. Flood of new boudoir photographers came into the market because everyone's got a phone, a superpowered smartphone, a superpowered camera, and everyone still needs to earn money. And so you're seeing all that, and you actually are realizing, man, it's not about getting the links on there is cool, kicking people off cool, but you realize then you actually got to fortify your position on page 1 for all the new boudoir photographers that are going to be entering the market, not only from the gear, but the largest percentage will be AI taking people's jobs, and people still need to earn money. So you realize, man, you actually got to super fortify your position page 1, like fortifying those levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because the city is below sea level. So like, man, I gotta have page 1 links, backups to my page 1 links on page 2, backups to those links on page 3. I like have so many links and backup links that like basically nobody else, no other current competitor can rank page 1, and no other future competitor can rank page 1 after AI takes their job and then they decide to become a boudoir photographer. And you're seeing that SQ methodology is actually the only solution that you can see that enables that. You're also looking ahead to the future benefits that you like for the SQ methodology, where you understand we're building these invisible thematic keyword columns kind of plugged into your brand, plugged into your name, business name, website name, social handles, kind of in the back end in cyberspace, taking up back end AI keyword mindshare. And you understand that every new day we successfully execute SQ methodology, that we are increasing the probability we show up here in the AI overview. The most premium placement, we cannot pay for this. This is organic only, and it is the #1 most premium placement. So increase the probability of getting here every single day, and increase the probability of being ranked on AI search every single day we successfully execute S-cubed methodology. And when we do that, that's ChatGPT, that's Claude, that's Perplexity, that is Microsoft Copilot, that is Google Gemini. Higher chance we get ranked AI search, which is literally growing every single day, getting bigger every single day. I remember the last time I did ChatGPT AI search for boudoir photographers in a city. It brought up 3, and I went to manually look at that city, Google and Facebook, manual search, standard search, and dude, there was like 60 boudoir photographers in that city. So it's like, dude, we gotta get these slots at least one of these slots any way possible. And you're seeing that S-cube methodology is really the only solution out there that builds up these invisible thematic keyword columns, that builds up a backend AI keyword mindshare. It's invisible, but it's building up every day. And you also understand that my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city. So you realize you can get all these benefits and prevent all your competitors from getting any of these benefits and kick them off page 1 down to page 2 and deeper, and build up this massive, keyword momentum, the back-end AI brain momentum with these keywords, and put a massive gap between you and your competitors. And you decide to be a first mover. You're like, man, I cannot pass this up. Because you understand the converse scenario where one of your competing boudoir photographers in your city actually signs on with me, and us working together, we actually kick you off page 1, and you actually go way, you're on page 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, like way deeper, and we're fortifying getting all these links ranked, so that you basically have no chance to ever rank on page 1 again. And we're building up these invisible thematic keyword columns in the backend in cyberspace attached to their brand, building up backend AI keyword mindshare, increasing the probability your competitor ranks in the AI overview, kicking you out of there, and increase the probability they're shown in AI search, building their brand approximately 8x as fast as normal processes. And in order to compete, you would have to actually go and rederive S-cube methodology, or derive it the first time. And when you do that, you would never actually be 100% confident you've derived it correctly. But once you do that, you then have to go and execute it every single day, same as us. And if you do those 2 things, well, guess what? You're simply maintaining the gap me and your competitor had already built up ahead of you. And so then you realize, okay, you got to actually execute us like 2 or 3x every single day in order to start pulling that AI keyword mindshare in the back end away from your competitor's brand and back towards your brand. But still, again, you're not even 100% confident you've derived the strategy correctly in the first place. So super hard to even put in that effort. And then if you do put in the effort, dude, it's like 80 hours per day. I mean, who has that time? So after all that, you realize, and screw that, I have decided to be first mover in my city. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. And our DMs are currently closed. Hospital is currently closed for new patient intake. But when we do open our DMs again, when the hospital does open for new patient intake, then shoot us a DM, and we will see if you qualify to utilize our S-cubed methodology.